Hi, this is Sporty King, the master of listening, and I'm excited to be one of the 2020 visionaries. We're six heart-centered thought leaders and influencers based in the greater Charlotte area, excited to deliver our pandemic perspectives to help you keep it together while we're in this together, experiencing it differently. Today, I'll be talking to fellow visionary Taya Bolton.
As we continue our pandemic perspective series, we go into round two, and I think it's wonderful that we get a chance to do this. Taya, what are some adjustments you're seeing people making right now?
So, Sporty, that's a great question. Now is a time where we really have to pivot the way we think about what we offer and how we offer it to people. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, and by we, of course, you're talking about your industry. Talk a little bit about that, please.
Yes. So, my industry is mostly small businesses that we support, as well as the nonprofit community. And we have to think about the way in which we serve the people who we serve. Is this the way that it was done before? Do we have the proper technology and everything to support that being a long-term solution?
And turning that technology into a personal. What are some things that you're doing to make that happen? Or maybe some of your clients in particular, without naming them, up to you.
Mm-hmm. So we have one of the nonprofits I work with. We were in the middle of actually a business academy for entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And this COVID-19 happened, and we had to figure out the pivot point. Do we take this online, or do we wait until the next semester?
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to take it online. And so we had to get the team acclimated and think through the different systems that it would take in order to get that academy running smoothly for the next 8 weeks or so, to get people through the program. Or do we just have people to wait? And so we decided to use a combination of Zoom and breakout sessions, along with Google Drive, along with a polling option outside of those systems to keep things exciting, like menti.com. And so we were just kind of thinking it through, but we now have a whole new set of systems to deliver these modules virtually.
Wow. And how about the end users? How about your people? How are they feeling about that? Or
it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've been working remotely for more than 2 decades. I've been on pilot teams when I worked for corporate before I started the business to help people in that corporation become telecommuters. And I started my business as a virtual business back in 2006. So now it's interesting because not everyone was equipped before this happened to work from home. So you have people who didn't have a home office or wasn't used to working in the cloud with Google Drive, didn't know anything about Zoom, or hadn't really used it in this way of having to interact. So it's a learning curve for everybody.
Mhm. Well, with that learning curve, let me ask you this. Are you a biased opinion? Because you've been doing it since 2006. Hey, everybody, fall in line. Look, welcome to my world. Why are you a great person right now, actually, as a resource?
You know what it is, Sporty? We have done this for so long that we understand all the ebbs and flows that it really takes to do this and do it properly. So we really get to know the personalities of the people who we are working with. And that way we can help them move through it as harmoniously as possible. Even in the instance I just referenced with the nonprofit in their academy, I've had to do some one-on-ones, both with the team and with the users who are part of the program, to make sure they know how to use Google Drive, know how to use Zoom, they know how to upload their homework, they know who to contact for Q&A, they know who to contact for technology. So it's just a whole new way, but we're patient. And we know the personality of the people we're working with, and so we just know how to move them through that process.
I smiled because the word hit me in my mind. I was just saying, are you have to be more patient with people, and bam, you said patient.
Yes.
And I get tickled. Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, because right now, woo, God, patience is huge.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, I have been, we do virtual event production, right? So we are on systems like this regularly. But right now in this climate, I am literally doing about 5 Zoom sessions a day.
Okay. Right.
From meetings to events, it's just, okay, I'm about to be zoomed out.
Okay.
But this is the environment that we have to work in. So you adjust, you make the adjustments.
In fact, now you just reminded me of a term that I've heard you use, the isness.
Yes. Yes, the isness. And so the isness is really about it is what it is. Now, what do we do about it? And so just really taking the time to self-assess, all right, here's what we have. These are the different deliverables that we have to meet. This is what we have the bandwidth to do right now and the budget, because technology is not free in all cases, right? So here's what we have. Here's our budget. Here's the resources. What can we do within this and where are we trying to go? And I think what's tough for people is being honest about that. A lot of times we're a little bit we over assume what our bandwidth is, and we have to really be honest about what we can and cannot do in the moment so that we can provide the most optimum product at that time. We can always improve it. We can always pull back, but done is better than perfect.
So isness is very solution focused.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Wow. Well, when did you come up with that concept? Or is it a concept, or did you say it and it was like, hey, let's go with this? Or
I've been doing this for a long time. I think I probably said this for the first time with my team, probably somewhere about 5 years into the business. So maybe somewhere around 2011 or so. And I just said, you know what, guys, we just have to be with our clients, especially. We just have to get them to get to the place of acknowledging the isness, because people try to put band-aids on things. And I'm like, no. We're like a doctor. You cannot come to us and try to cover anything up. We're going to know the truth. Okay. So don't try to hide it. Don't try to make it pretty. Like, just tell us what it is. We'll help you read between the lines, and then we know where we really are. And that's the business.
And you said it that many years ago, and it's even more important right now.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also look at that in terms of the fact, so many people are saying the new normal is coming, and I'm like, hello, the new normal is here. So, I personally, I call it the now normal, and yeah. So how are you now, other than those technological things, the patience thing, is there anything else that you're doing differently?
We are actually. It's interesting. Again, we've been working remotely. We have team members that we have never met face to face. We have clients that we've never met face to face, and they've been with us for over a decade, right? So working virtually isn't new, but looking at it from the perspective of now, this is what is required. Like, what happens, the shift that happens when you go from it's nice to work virtually and we have these systems in place to now everyone is required to work virtually. So what do we need to shift, right? So with me also being in the hospitality industry with events, the live events industry is a graveyard right now. We're just preparing for when we come out of this. And we're working with attorneys to rewrite language to protect clients from situations like this. However, we just have to kind of be on top of our game with this is what needs to be done in this moment. And here's how we prepare for that. So it really is a process.
A lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts.
How are the students? How I know we talked about patience, but how what are some of the things that you're finding in terms of that adjustment that for people who suddenly have to get online or virtual?
Not everyone had a home office, so we're seeing people kind of try to carve out a corner in their kids' playrooms or find a nice spot outside when the weather permits. And we've just been giving them guidance and giving them tips on the best environment for you to do a virtual Zoom session or any kind of virtual platform where you're going to be seen or heard. And so some of those tips are, don't sit in front of the window. Like, the window shouldn't be behind you because that will make your background really dark. have the light on the other side of you so it's facing you to give you a nice shiny background. Make sure that you test your audio that you're going to be using, whether you use a microphone or your headset or your computer and speakers. Make sure you know how that comes across, and make sure that you are aware of any feedback and other conversations that might be happening in your home. So making sure you mute your lines and things like that when you're not speaking. There's just a bunch of things that people need to know. It's the etiquette. Now we're teaching people the etiquette of working online.
How about the virtual background feature?
So I think it's really cute and it's an innovative idea. I'm not a fan of it because what happens is it gets really glitchy. So if you don't match the lighting properly with that background picture, or you start moving around quite a bit, it begins to pixelate. And then you begin to look a little bit robotic and blend into the actual image. So I think it's a great idea and concept, not quite able to be fully used the way that they expect it right now.
And you know, and what made me bring that up is because I you know, you had given me some of your tips before, and that was one that I really needed, because, you know, naturally I'm like, oh man, I want to do a virtual background, and I clicked on mine and I disappeared, you know, and so then I found out it was the speed of my computer, you know, what type, you know, so you do have to do more research.
That's right.
Into this thing.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
No, oh, that's cool. What are there any, you know, because laughter is important. Do you have any good, you know, chuckleable stories about what people are doing? Because, you know, let me tell you this, the reason I just thought of that is Saturday Night Live, SNL, you know, yeah, it's actually back. And I thought, I'm like, oh God, they're shot, you know, but what they do is they broadcast from each of their different apartments. And so they did a great spoof on a Zoom call where they had 9 participants, and 2 of them were receptionists, and they were very uncomfortable with Zoom. You know, the marketing person, the salesperson, they were comfortable, but the receptionists were. So they showed some of the things that they were doing.
I can imagine. I can imagine how that spoof went, first of all, and I can imagine how the introverted behind the scenes person is a little uncomfortable in this environment where we're like showing not only our face, but our background. Like, what's your home look like? What's your office look like? And then people being a little judgmental of that. So I know that this is a tricky time for everybody, but you know, you got to do what you got to do right now. So you just, whatever you can find, if you have a nice image to put in the background or something like that, that's always ideal. But I tell you, I keep joking and I say, I've seen more body parts than I'm comfortable with in this new pandemic.
Body parts?
Body parts. Like people, we talked about the etiquette of Zoom or just these virtual platforms, and people forgetting like which camera is on, the front camera or the rear camera, people not being fully dressed at the bottom. Or matching what's at the top, and people standing up in front of the camera and like all kinds of body parts in the view of the camera that we just don't need to see in the middle of our work session. And so just remembering, dress with a full outfit on. Do not stand up in the middle of your session.
Or click on take video off.
Exactly, take your video off. And remember to mute, because people are saying things and having conversations that we probably shouldn't hear. So, and they're not remembering that they not only have to shut your video down, but also you have to mute yourself if you're going to continue to talk in the background. So we have seen a lot in the past few weeks. We're just like, you know what? People, take a moment. Get your mind right before you get online.
And viewers, actually, obviously, you know, you want people to know we joke about it, but we want people to be comfortable enough to be aware.
That's right.
For when this happens, you know.
Yeah, it happens.
So, you know, let go of that anxiety of, oh no, I don't have a good enough place. You have a wonderful place, you know. You know, it really is about having that confidence. I think more leaders are being born right now because a leader is comfortable in their surroundings.
That's it.
So, you know, recognize that you don't have to get it perfect. You know, you have to have some outtakes.
That's right. It's going to happen. And I say this all the time as well. If I had not gone through some things myself, I wouldn't be able to teach other people how to do them differently.
Mm-hmm.
So the things I say I've experienced somehow, some way, maybe it was me, maybe it was a client, but I'm like, oh, okay, I see this. Now we got to figure out ways to adjust around that. So it's okay. We got to keep moving.
Okay, and speaking of moving, let's move on out of this interview.
All right.
And you know, would you like that to be your closing word, or is there something on your heart you might just want to throw in?
You know, I think I just want to encourage people to just continue to adjust. That is the theme of this particular conversation, is the adjustment. Make the pivots where you can comfortably make the pivots. Don't let fear hold you back. This is the time to show your brilliance and to be innovative and figure out what you can offer, not only during this time, but as we move into what happens when we can get back to work in person. What does that look like for you? Now is the time to start planning.
Great. Thank you. And the cherry on that, I think, is the calmness. You know, it really is about being calm. We are excited and hoping that we're offering a calm solution, you know, and so that you will consider to keep in touch with us, the 2020 Visionaries, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Comments in the threads of things that you may want us to cover, any kind of encouragement you can give us to make sure we're on the right track, or a track that you'd like to see us take. So that's what we're here for. And thanks so much for joining us. And Taya, thank you for being an inspiration.
Thank you.
All right, ciao.